Hello, everyone, and welcome back to today's match. It's been a great time so far in the Scrim game series, and we are here with week 3 Mirai Saints versus Unity Astra. I'm your host, Nano Assassin, and today, two teams who have had very adverse starts. Mirai Saints going 0-2 so far. The fortune hasn't favored them, but that's obviously due to the fact that they've come against the most difficult opponents in this league, to be honest. And today is another one of those matches where, Unity Astra have gone perfect so far, 2-0. It's the greatest start they could have asked for. And both sides have echoed some form of confidence at least, Mirai, I think the 0-2 is sort of deceptive because they are a really strong unit, and I think they could really put up a fight today against Unity Astra. Speaking of Unity Astra, we know what potential they can bring here. The matches they played so far against Gods, Ares, and Ragnarok, two of the league's lowest, almost worst performing sides, if you understand what I'm trying to get at here. Obviously, whilst it has been an easier start for them, today's their real first test, going up against very dangerous and probably very angry Mirai Saints. So as we've seen in the league so far, there have been a lot of comps getting played, obviously with the different variations of the dive with Winston and Roadhog, some Sigma, some Reinhardt. Those are the main characters we've been seeing. Zarya as well has been quite popular recently. Obviously Sojourn's been dominating every single game, as well as the Reaper. So it's the general standard meta comps we see here. And yeah, so I think it should be interesting to see whether any of these teams decide to pull out off meta, because we saw obviously in the last match with the Gods, Ares, and Ragnarok that there was some of that. So here we take a look at Mirai Saints lineup. Early signs of what they want to go with here, and as expected, there will be some standard conventional characters in the lineup. We've got the Genji looking up here with Zoro, and the Winston with Ghost 75. The lineup is Cowboy, Zoro, Ghost 75, Usagi, and Noise. So this Genji and this Winston are obviously conventional picks for the meta. The Cassidy is an outside meta pick, but I think it can still work out, especially with that Mercy Pocket probably on it as well, and the Moira doing, having that, get out of jail free card with the Fade, quick mobility, high survivability, and I think that's what this comp is aiming for, Get in there with those quick engages and really be able to just back out fast and have, a good amount of sustain to hold out for those really quick, speedy engages. Zoro's been the one to watch on the Genji, I think, as well as Cowboy. Their DPS lineup is absolutely insane, and the rest of the lineup is also well-rounded. And similarly, Unity Astra also ending up with that Winston, but funnily enough, they're actually going for the exact meta comps that we've been seeing in the league as of now, with that Sojourn Reaper DPS line and the Kiriko Lucio. So it should be interesting to see whether they can execute these really difficult compositions, because obviously this composition requires a lot of communication and timing, and obviously with those abilities like the Suzu and the Speed Amp, there's timing required, and if you mess it up by even 1 second, it could make the difference between surviving and dying. So on this squad, obviously, as we know, Goku has been getting player of the match before, as well as Owen. Both have impressed so far on the DPS. Aaron is a new player, so we shall see whether they can hold up to the expectations of Unity Astra. And the support line, as always, really threatening and really, really scary. Probably one of the best backlines in the league, if I'm being honest. So here we start on Control, and we are on Oasis. So I do understand why some of these teams are playing the Moira. Mirai Saints, why they're playing the Moira. This is a very close range map, and obviously Control's great for that. Brawl fight here, as we can see, obviously with the close quarters on Oasis, especially on maps like City Center and University. There's not a lot of great sight lines for those more long-range heroes. It's more of a close-range brawl-style map. We are going to be in nighttime Oasis, so still have the views of the old Overwatch 1 look. Looks quite nice. Mirai Saints and Unity Astra have both won on this map so far, so confident starts for these two teams in terms of Oasis, and one of these teams will go back losing Oasis today, so we shall see which team is going to lose on this very hotly contested map for sure. You can see here we're with Mirai Saints in their spawn as we're counting down with the timer. 5 seconds to go before we leave the gates swinging, and let's see which side is able to take the first round of Oasis on Gardens. I'm assuming from what I can see, and yeah, we are on Oasis Gardens first. So it's going to be interesting to see which team is going to be able to take the high ground fast, because obviously high ground control on this map is really, really important. As you can see, both teams trying to go for the stairs there, trying to control the high ground. Goes 75, goes really low early on, trying to get pocketed by these supports, but cannot do so, and it goes down really early. The res coming out here from Noise, but doesn't manage to pull it off, and as we can see here, Unity Astra just absolutely rushing them down with that speed boost, and Goku just picking up those kills with the Reaper. That's the threat with this comp, that the speedy engages and just being able to overrun and overwhelm the enemy with so much damage just piling in so quickly. And that was the key bit, I think. Taking this high ground is really important on Oasis Gardens, because obviously it pulls the control. And I'd like to see how Mirai Saints approach trying to take back this high ground, because the high ground is key on this map, as I said. And yeah, so we can see here trying to go for that same sort of line on that left hand side, trying to approach them the same way, trying to poke them out. No ults are coming online as of yet here, but Zoro does take down Owen really quickly. That's a huge opening pick. There's no mercy there to res it either. So with that pick, and I'd pick on the jump as well, I'm assuming it is going to be a fight win for Mirai Saints there. Zoro cleaning up the kills. And yeah, this DPS line of Mirai Saints has a lot of potential, as I've said before, and they will manage to cap with Unity Astra getting 40% here on the board. So not a bad start for Unity Astra. It would have been ideal to go above 50%, but this is definitely retainable for Unity Astra, and even if they lose this fight, they should still be in control for the next one. Ults, in terms of ults, we can see that there's going to be a Death Blossom here for Unity Astra in the next fight, as well as a Blade for Zoro. So, but obviously without the Nano Boost, it would be nice to see whether Zoro can get value from it. And Zoro's popped the Blade here, gets to pick off the jump, but does have the Mercy damage boost as well, so using the Mercy really well to his advantage there, and it's a good bit of link up there between Mirai Saints. It was obviously a really smart tactic there, I think, to pop it at the start of the fight when Unity Astra didn't have that beat, and as we can see, for the next fight they probably will, but it was a really well-timed Blade from Zoro. It did find the value that it needs to find, and yeah, another fight gone, and as you can see here, Mirai Saints have clocked up the percentage here almost, and they will go above 50% within the start of this fight. So it's good for good for Mirai Saints here. And Mirai Saints gonna have 4 ults coming into this fight, as will Unity Astra probably. They're actually gonna have 5 ults. So OWSGS does pop that primal maybe a little bit earlier than expected here. Mateo does also go for the Kitsune rush, and just ults being piled into this fight here. But Unity Astra finding the sharper side of the tool here, and great stuff from Unity Astra there. Getting a bit confused in all of the hype going around here, because it's obviously going to be a great match. As you can see, very back and forth so far. Ults just being thrown out here, and a lot of chaos and a lot of great Overwatch so far. Unity Astra obviously investing that Kitsune rush, going in hard with the primal and the overclock as well. So, Mirai Saints are going to have both support ults, and Unity Astra will have the Death Blossom. So, maybe Unity Astra will be able to get an advantage here as well, because no defensive capabilities against that very, very powerful Death Blossom. So, it will be nice to see how Unity Astra approach this. And the beat has been forced out here early on from Unity Astra here. They're just going to go all in. I think the strategy there was an aggressive beat instead of a really defensive one. And actually, in that last fight, Noise did actually use the Valkyrie and managed to get a res onto Cowboy. So whilst it doesn't seem as if Mirai Saints have control of the fight, they are still trying to put point pressure here. It's a 3 versus 3 right now, and Goku's still holding on to that Death Blossom. So I'm not sure what the plan is with that, but Mirai Saints finding a way back into this game. They have managed to find Aaron and do manage to find Mateo, so maybe this is a winnable fight for Mirai Saints here. Zoro does have the Blade for the next fight, probably not going to pop it. Usagi does pop the Coalescence, and very, very chaotic fight here. Noise does get another res onto Cowboy. Usagi picking up 2 kills with that Coalescence, and Mirai will get the flip. Unity Astra getting to 99% there, but Mirai managing to hold on desperately and being able to take that reflip. Goku invested the Death Blossom in that last fight, didn't seem to get much value there. So Unity Astra gonna go into this fight probably with a overclock, but Mirai Saints gonna have that both 3 ults here actually, with the primal and both DPS ults. Probably a Valkyrie. popping that early Ghost 75, and they're just going all in with the ults here. The Blade, the Deadeye, and the Primal comes in here for Mirai Saints, and they're just slaughtering, taking them apart. And Unity Astra have no answer anymore to these ults. Just been so overwhelming for them as the timer will burn down here, and Mirai Saints will take round 1 on Oasis. Well played there from Mirai Saints, and it was very close, as you could saw there, 100 to 99. Quite the opposite of the last match we saw between Ragnarok and God's Ares, where there was absolutely no contest on the first round, being 100 to 0. So maybe good omens for this match. Maybe this is going to be a really, really tight affair. In the end, Mirai Saints just had the better ult economy and had the ults favoring them, and they just piled them onto Unity Astra, who could not handle it. They were not far off a beat, to be honest, so it was quite unfortunate for them, I will have to say. And here we go, going into round 2. This looks like City Center, and Unity Astra actually making the swap over to the Zarya here. So not opting to go for the Winston dive anymore, but instead they have also switched over to the Moira. So a very brawly, very rush heavy comp here. And Mirai Saints still choosing to stick with that Winston. And obviously I don't expect them to stick on this Winston considering the Winston-Zarya matchup. But anyway, Mirai Saints trying to put early pressure on the point here. And Unity Astra just holding on to this high ground here. They will have to drop. Otherwise, Mirai Saints will get a free cap here. So, and they have dropped now. They are going to try and contest the point. They are going straight for that backline. And Cowboy and Noise falling really low there. And Cowboy does get taken out. Zoro managed to find 2 responding picks though onto the Lucio and the Sojourn. A res comes out from Noise here, and a very back and forth fight as picks coming over from both sides. The Cowboy finding another pick onto Goku and 2, so it should be a fight sealed for Mirai Saints here. Picks coming in there back and forth between both of these teams. It was, you know, not really determined who was going to win that fight initially, but you know, Mirai Saints clutching it out with those key picks and finding those key kills. And I will have to say the positioning from Mirai Saints was really clever. They went to point straight away, started to, you know, make Unity Astra lose that high ground really early and have to drop, and obviously make them be stuck in an uncomfortable position. Straight re-engage here from Unity Astra, trying to find that point pressure, and does manage to take down Cowboy. I'm not sure if Noise will res this. Noise doesn't manage to res this, and it's just been a quick steamroll here from Unity Astra, just taking back that quick fight, and Mirai Saints having no defensive answer to a very, very smart re-engage from Unity Astra. And they do manage to flip the point. Mirai Saints managed to get 30% on the board, so not a bad opening from Mirai Saints, but Unity Astra, you know, will have to hold on to control of the point here. And they do have the Coalescence, so, and almost a grab, so the grab will be very interesting, because obviously Mirai Saints with that Mercy Moira backline don't actually have any defensive ults to counter the grab. So it'll probably rely on Zoro having to deflect. And Zoro goes in really aggressive with the blade. They managed to take down Mateo. That's a massive pick, because Mateo was 80% to that beat there. So Zoro does manage to do the job, doesn't go in too deep, because obviously he knows he's done his job there, taking out the key pick on the Lucio. Owen does manage to find a responding pick onto Ghost 75, but I don't think it will matter if the rest comes out. Aaron using a really, really late grab there. I really don't think that was necessary at the point, because whilst the fight was turnable possibly, it was a very outside chance, because Mirai had already taken those key picks there, as I said earlier. So I think that was a wasted grab, to be honest. Shouldn't have really used it, and obviously Unity Astra will have to reset here. They did manage to find quite a bit of percentage, going over 50%, the 50% mark there. So it was good point control for Unity Astra, but the ult usage wasn't the best. And yeah, coming into this next fight, Mirai Saints will have the Primal only to their name, as Unity Astra will have a beat and the Death Blossom. So this fight should probably favor them here. A little bit of brawl on the front lines here, trying to build up that charge for the Zarya. Obviously, the Zarya can be really dangerous with that high charge. Goku teleports again, probably trying to get a Death Blossom angle here, trying to probably drop down on top of them. Quick re-engage here, but Mateo falls really low, has to pop the sound barrier. Goku finds 2 with the Death Blossom, 3, he finds 3 with the Death Blossom, massive Death Blossom from Goku there, dropping down from above and finding the key picks there, and it's a huge value Death Blossom from Goku. It's going to swing the fight back again as Mirai trying to stall out to 75% here, will manage to get to the 75% mark, so not a bad fight from Mirai Saints, you know. Only investing that Primal, whilst they did force the beat out from Unity Astra. Mateo falling dangerously low in that last fight, so had to pop it. But Goku with the massive Death Blossom to save Unity Astra. the switch has been made, as I was hinting at earlier, from Mirai Saints onto the Zarya. You know, the Zarya Winston matchup does not favor that Winston, so I was expecting a switch earlier, but you know, it's fine. They will probably be able to get some sort of value from this Zarya and the bubbles, you know, getting high charge, with, especially with that Mercy damage boost. And they're going in really hard here, Unity Astra, with the Coalescence as well, trying to run them down really fast. And Cowboy does get diffed by Owen, and Owen in the back line, popping his his high noon. Zoro on the point alone here with a blade, decides to pop it in a last-ditch effort to try and take back the point, but this is going to be the end of round 2 on Oasis City Center, as Unity Astra will take this round. Very close again here, as it was almost the reverse of the last round, where Unity Astra did have the ults to favor them. Not as many as Mirai had in the map before, but still really smart positioning from Unity Astra in the end. And you know, just using the tactics of the rush there with the Lucio speed boost. And I think that's the advantage, to be honest, for Unity Astra, where they have that speed boost to really be able to take the quick engages. And obviously with the with some of those characters, especially the Mercy, you know, it'll be really difficult for them to disengage as quickly as they can get onto them. We see here Mirai Saints actually opting for the Orisa here, so very interesting pick. I did not expect the Orisa to be pulled out here. I was expecting the Zarya Mirror, but oh well, you know, we'll see how this Orisa works out. They probably will want to try and take high ground, but interestingly enough, they opt to go for the right-hand side, so not trying to force that high ground. If I were the Orisa, I'd probably try and go high ground, because you know, high ground control is really important, and the Orisa really thrives on the high ground. So I'm interested to see what Mirai's strategy here is, trying to force point again, but I don't think it will work out the same way as it did before, because obviously, you know, that high ground is really open to the sightlines of the point here. And now they drop here, as Goku does fall really, really low there. This jungler from Zoro is also a really interesting pick, especially into these hit scans, and does get taken out by Owen. Owen on the flank behind them, they don't realize that, and he's taken 3 kills from this fight here. Owen absolutely destroying their backline, and Mirai actually did manage to get the cap there, so they have managed to get 10% on the point here. But as we saw there, I don't think the Orisa was a very smart pick, considering the fact that they didn't want to go high ground there. You know, if you wanted to try and go low ground, I don't know why they've gone for this Orisa here. It really confuses me, honestly. I have no clue why they would want to go Orisa if you're not going to take the high ground. And Zoro gets taken down by that sticky grenade. Really unfortunate there. Doesn't manage to get rest, but forces out the rest really early on in the fight. Immortality Field also forced out. And Owen on the flank there, pulling out the sticks and getting a 5k. Huge stuff from Owen there. And wow, Owen just carrying Unity Astra across to the 40% mark here. Owen with a really, really well-timed engage on with the high noon there, with the speed boost as well, and just unbeknownst to Mirai Saints, taking that angle and really being able to find that great value. Goes 75 now on the Reinhardt, so it seems as they want to force this brawl matchup, and as you can see, going in really deep here, trying to take out the Zarya, but let's get stuck there with that grenade, and Owen again finding another pick. Jump does pop the Coalescence here, as they will try and have the intention of taking control of the fight here, and they are taking up above 60%, and it's looking really dire for Mirai Saints here. They will have ults coming into this fight. They will have the Blade and the Deadeye and a window to their name, but obviously Unity Astra with that beat, the Death Blossom and the Grav. So the sound barrier is obviously going to be a response to the Blade, I'm assuming. So Death Blossom, you'll have to be really careful about how you use this Blossom. Window popped here from Mirai Saints, and Graf for the response. Cowboy managed to find a pick onto Aaron, that's huge. Goku with the Death Blossom, but the beat has come out as well from Unity Astra, so they're trying to throw everything into this fight to try and seal it out. They are on 95%, and Mirai Saints will need a touch here. I don't think they're going to find it, and Unity Astra just destroying all of them. You know, there's been absolutely no spark in this round from Mirai Saints, as they get blown out here on Oasis on the last round, as Unity Astra will take the opening map 2-1. Oh, I'm out of breath after this first map. It has honestly been so chaotic, guys. You know, just so back and forth. And congrats to Unity Astra for winning that first map. It was really well played out. Really close as well between both sides here. Obviously, Mirai Saints stamping their assertion on that first round on Gardens, but Unity Astra taking back control and it looked really close until that last round. So guys, will Unity Astra be able to take map 2 and put us up to match point, or will Mirai Saints find a response on our hybrid map? They will have to pick the next map, so are they going to try and take advantage of that? We'll find out after the break. Hello everyone and welcome back to our match today between Mirai Saints and Unity Astra. What a great first match we had. Honestly, I needed some refreshments after that one because so much tension was just hanging up in the air between these two squads, and the tension hasn't ended, guys. We still have a few more maps to go at this point, and yeah, obviously the first map was really hotly contested, and it should be the same, to be honest, for this hybrid map. The most popular one has been King's Row so far, and I wouldn't be surprised if we did see a King's Row pick here. Mirai Saints making a change in that support line as well, and as we can see, yep, they have chosen to go for King's Row, a fan favorite map. And obviously we saw the early signs of a rush comp from Mirai Saints with that Reinhardt and that Lucio. So the plan is quite clear from Mirai Saints. They do want to go for that rush comp. We will see though what changes each team has made to their compositions overall. And as I said, obviously there were substitutions which I will go over just before we get to the start of this map. Both sides have actually won both times that they've played on it. So obviously weeks 1 and week 2 have gone by, and both squads have won on this map. So again, it's another affair where both sides have won this map so far, but one of them will go away losing today. So we'll see who keeps their perfectly spotless record on King's Row 3-0 and who will be 2-1 on King's Row. So Mirai Saints, putting in J-Rex here on the support. Haven't seen this player yet, so a new player as well. And Unity Astra subbing inverted on that tank role. Very renowned tank there, very reliable tank, and is known for getting a lot of value and high DPS out on that on those tanks, and just getting the picks and finding those kills when his team needs them. So this Widow we've seen before, renowned Widow, just to get that opening pick. Manages to get Zoro down to half this Owen, but doesn't seem to find a pick so far, and actually does seem as if he's gonna stick with this. Tries to go for the 360 grapple shot, doesn't manage to find any value from it. Zoro managed to find an early pick onto Mateo though, so this defensive Junkrat seems to be doing finding a bit of value here. As the difference in the support line is going to be interesting as well, because the Ana they opted for Mirai Saints over that Moira. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see. Oh, and Owen's found 2 picks. Owen styling on that Widowmaker there, finding so much value on such a niche hero. I did not expect so much value to be found by Owen, but Owen finding those key headshots onto those onto the members of Mirai Saints and Unity Astra. Will find the pick here. Only took them 45 seconds to 50 seconds to be able to find the cap on point A here, as they will have a very healthy time back of 5.5 minutes to push into point B. Convincing start from Unity Astra here. The Widow play seems to be working out on point A, so maybe they can try and carry this over to point B, where there are more cheeky angles which you can take, especially you know, on that high ground behind them right now. And Owen finds another pick onto Ghost 75. So this Widow is finding a lot of value here, and Mirai Saints is being forced to back up really far here. You know, they just and again another pick. Owen popping off on this Widowmaker. No one can stop him. He has no one to contest him on this Widowmaker. No one has the sight lines to be able to go in and be able to take down Owen. And wow, it's just been a steamroll so far. Nothing like the first map so far. Unity Astra just pummeling Mirai Saints every fight, but Mirai Saints do have a chance to get back into this. They will have the Riptire and the Nano Boost, but Unity Astra will have popped the Coalescence and the sights here, so they are going to try and go really aggressive and try and force Mirai Saints away here, as there will be a Riptire and the Nano Boost has been invested to go 75 here. But Vert managed to find the shatter on the J-Rex. That's a massive pick, as J-Rex was the key support there to try and take out. Ghost 75 does manage to find Vert, so has been traded out here. Mateo finds Cowboy and just the pick coming backwards and forwards, but it does seem like Ghost 75 and Mirai Saints are taking back control. So finally, they've managed to halt Unity Astra in their tracks here just before point B. It did require quite a few ults there as well. Actually, no, it didn't really, to be honest. I mean, it required the Shatter and the Nano Boost, so they will have the Riptire for the next fight. And Unity Astra obviously investing that Shatter and investing the Blade and the Coalescence. Actually, no, they didn't invest it because they were on the Widow before. So Owen actually making the swap over to the Genji. So trying to mirror that Genji from Cowboy as well. And obviously, they will see which side is able to build up those ults faster. Zoro popping the Riptire here, trying to find some value, probably trying to target the backline here. He's trying to go around the members of Unity Astra, can't seem to do so, and Ghost 75 does kill Owen, so it's a really key opening pick here. Mateo manages to find jump, and the trades are just coming backwards and forwards, but Ghost 75 finding those key picks, as I said initially. You know, this is going to be really interesting, this Reinhardt matchup, to see which Ryan is finding more value, and as it stands right now, Ghost 75 clearly taking advantage of this Ryan mirror, seems to be the Hardy of this league almost, and is approaching a Shatter here, so maybe that Nano Shatter combo looks quite possible, and obviously with the Riptire here, with the Beat here as well, could counter that Death Blossom. And as you can see, Goku trying to find a good angle here. Gets slept. That's a massive sleep from Usagi. He puts the nano on to go 75 here. Cowboy does not receive the nano for his blade, but goes 75 going in really deep here. Knows he can survive it with the nano. Owen does manage to find J-Rex, so J-Rex not going to have the beat for this fight. And Owen just slashing and dashing through everyone here. Manages to get the aid of the beat here and has found 3 picks in this fight. Owen absolutely popping off here. First on the Widow and now on the Genji. What can this man not play? As Unity Astra find the momentum back again. And we'll be able to cap point B unless Mirai Saints can get a recontest here. And as expected, Mirai have made a switch to the Sombra here, probably to try and counter this Genji pick from Owen, which is quite lethal as we can see right now. And Unity Astra are going to cap here with no recontest coming back from Mirai Saints as expected. So 3 minutes 45 on the clock here for Unity Astra to point C. And things are looking really good for them now. J-Rex will have the beat for this fight, and Immortality Field forced out really early here as Usagi did make the switch over to Batiste. And Goku managed to find Ghost 75. That's a massive pick as they will try and keep the momentum going into this fight. Goku takes down J-Rex and Owen pops the blade, managed to find 2. Zoro finding a consolation pick here, but the damage has been done. And Unity Astra going really aggressive here. That's the game plan. You know, they're not going to sit back on these ultimates. And they're not going to, you know, wait for the cart to push around the corner. They're just going to go all in straight away. Take the fight to Mirai Saints. And it's really been working so far, as we can see. With a healthy time bank, 3 minutes to push around this last corner. J-Rex still holding on to that beat until Overwatch 3. And Zoro and Cowboy have the DPS ultimates. So maybe this is another point where Mirai Saints can take advantage here. The J-Rex has finally popped the beat here. Quite a high value beat, but the plan is probably to go in really aggressive here. Cowboy, interestingly enough, doesn't pop the blade. So I don't know what the tactic there was with the beat there. Clearly there wasn't much of one because Cowboy would have popped the blade here. And as you can see, Zoro just, almost falling off the map there. But Unity Astra destroying Mirai Saints here. And they will probably be able to get a touch here. Zoro popping that EMP, but it's almost desperate. It's almost a desperate attempt at this point. Go 75 finding the consolation Rhyme diff there. But with Goku's Death Blossom and Mateo just cleaning up those picks, it is the end of round 1. And that was not even close, I would have to say. You know, Unity Astra asserting their dominance here on King's Row. And this is Mirai's map pick, you have to understand. So clearly this hasn't been working out for Mirai Saints. And as we can see here, you know, it is quite interesting to see how they will respond in round 2, especially we can see these early compositional picks. Yeah, we will see which team is able to find the better side of the sword in round 2 here. Mirai Saints obviously looking to rebound from a poor first round. I will say it was quite underwhelming considering what we saw from map 1, and Unity Astra playing that out really smartly. I think also J-Rex, questionable beat usage there, you know, holding onto it for almost way too long at that point, and it was almost futile. And now we see some early signs of a Farah coming out from Cowboy here, so we will see whether they are able to respond. And yeah, as we see here, you know, like just the idea for Mirai Saints here is probably to try and use the Farah to presumably try and break those what they believe is the Ryan shield or the Rosario bubbles or whatever really fast, and probably just try and target that Ryan who cannot really focus them. The issue is obviously Unity Astra running that Widow there, so I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a switch from Cowboy, but the target is probably to dive that Widow really early on, especially with that Genji and the Winston. As we can see here, Zoro trying to take that space really early there, try and put some angle pressure here onto Unity Astra. Cowboy obviously getting pocketed by that Mercy, so gonna probably look to try and play around those buildings here, but has to respect the Widow as well at the same time, and does get picked off by Owen, so there might be a res, but honestly I don't think that will be, considering the fact that he peeked out way too far for his own good there. Zoro managed to find a responding pick onto Mateo though, so there's possibly a chance in the air that they manage to win this fight, but it looks over and done now as Mirai will probably reset here, and Owen finds another really late pick here onto Zoro. It's a massive stagger for Mirai Saints, who are going to have to back away. They have made the switches though, so they've moved from the Mercy to the Kiriko. They've now moved to the Hanzo from the Farah, and now the Ryan. So they're going to go for that Ryan mirror. And Owen again finding the sniper diff here onto Cowboy. And Owen just wrecking the DPS of Mirai Saints here. And they're getting absolutely run over. Zoro finding a responding pick onto Owen, but with Goku cleaning up those kills, it's looking like it's over now. And Mirai Saints losing another fight here. Owen with the sights now. That's the only ultimate we can see um, here. But Owen's actually made the switch to the Genji. So, funnily enough, it seemed as if the Widow was actually working out, in my opinion. And now Cowboy's actually gone over to the Sombra here. So, this is actually perfect for Cowboy because the Genji without his abilities is quite useless. So that interrupt will be quite important, especially if Zoro wants to get the cleanup here. And Usagi finding Mateo, that's a key pick because Mateo obviously being that main support with the for the Lucio. Picks just being traded here, but Owen finding a 3K. Owen absolutely destroying Mirai Saints' backline and just taking them out in one fell swoop. Owen just he's an absolute master, alright, at these heroes. He's just unstoppable, First on the Widow, Owen just picking up those headshots, and now Owen on the Genji, absolutely destroying this Mirai Saints unit. And you will see a shatter for Vert, as well as the Death Blossom and a Coalescence, which has been popped now by Jump. Usagi does have one, but is not willing to pop it as of now. And Zoro does fall with Blade, which was just about to come up for him. And as you can see here, Ghost investing that shatter way too late, and Owen cleaning up those kills. Does invest the Blade, I think that was a bit overkill. But managed to find a pick with it, managed to find two. So, Owen, again, putting on a carry performance here for Unity Astra, and I think that was a really good team effort from Unity Astra as well, using the Coalescence to engage early, put a little bit of pressure, and letting Owen just be free, because obviously the distraction there was that Coalescence. And now Mirai Saints have the Blade here to their name, as well as an EMP which is about to come up. But Zoro here almost losing that 1v1 to Owen, but does manage to get the Genji did. But Goku in the backline finding it, Death Blossom managed to take out both DPS. And that is huge Death Blossom from Goku there, as both DPS almost had their ults. And that is just such clinical stuff from Goku. Unity Astra turning them, shutting Mirai Saints down at every single corner, as you can see here. Usagi making the switch to the Batiste. Probably, I wouldn't recommend that, because obviously with the Genji, it's going to be really difficult to heal them up. Obviously with a character like Genji, you'd want to play a support like Ana or Brig there. But Cowboy going with the EMP here, and that's going to clean them all up here. Vert investing a really late shatter on the Ghost 75 here. Managed to find a pin. He might go down here, but a great immortality field from Usagi, and they will clean up Unity Astra. Finally managing to find a breakthrough here with only 7 seconds to go. So, whilst it isn't the cleanest of point A's I have seen, it is going to be enough to be able to cap point A and have 2.5 minutes on the time bank here. So Vert will be looking to hold here on the bookshop probably, along with the rest of his team, because that is the most popular spot to hold after you lose point A. Goku going in a bit deep there, doesn't manage to escape, gets hacked though. And Cowboy goes down there, so Cowboy getting picked up at the start of this fight. It will probably mean that Mirai Saints will have to reset, but they do have the Blade here. Shatter invested, doesn't manage to catch 3 though. And Ghost Overwatch trying to swing at all of them there, as Jump does also invest that Coalescence. Zoro going in deep with the Blade here. Mateo has a top to beat and does go down as well. And J-Rex popping that beat to give them a little bit of extra sustain in the fight. But Owen finding 2 picks again. Owen going after the Batiste and after the Sombra there. Does get picked off in the end by Ghost 75, but Owen trying to turn those tides again, but unsuccessfully. And as we can see here, it was a very heavy investment for Mirai Saints. A pin here and a very late stagger onto Ghost 75. Onto Vert. So that is a huge pick from Ghost 75 there, forcing Unity Astra to probably reset. And the last fight they'll have is probably going to be on the cusp of point B, as we can see, probably around this little area here, which is being highlighted. And they will have the tools to re-engage. Another shatter is almost coming up here for Vert, as well as a sound barrier and a Blade, as well as the Death Blossom. So they will have the ultimates to be able to stop this push here. And Owen going in with the Blade now. Can he find value? Vert managed to find the pin onto Ghost 75. Owen slashing and dashing through the entire enemy team. Managed to find a key pick of Usagi there. And Goku cleaning up Zoro means the end of the fight for Mirai Saints. And now with only 50 seconds left, Mirai Saints have to push. It is a do or die situation for them now. And they will have an EMP and a window to work with here. Possibly a Blade if Zoro can build it up fast enough, but I doubt it with only 30 seconds left on the clock. And it seems desperate now, as Unity Astra will have 3 ults coming into this fight. A Beat and the Death Blossom, as well as the Shatter. So things are looking quite dire here for Mirai Saints. We'll see how they want to engage this. They do pop the window here. Mateo and Jump running extremely low, both supporting the backline. Going low really quickly, but do manage to heal up there. but manages to use the shatter. And Goku finding 2 with the Death Blossom here. Goku's always been clutch with these Death Blossoms, has never disappointed. And a celebration beat from Mateo there, as they know what they have done. They have won this map against Mirai Saints. A desperate EMP attempt from Cowboy, but it's not going to matter. He does manage to catch 3, but in the end, the clutch plays from Unity Astra have managed to seal out the map here, and they will take it 3-1. That was a really exciting round, and again, Unity Astra just playing out those ults. The cycles were really good there. Great discipline as well from Unity Astra. And I always feel Mirai Saints, they are always on the edge of being able to win, but things just always have to go against them. And now they are on the cusp of losing a 3rd game. Like, it makes no sense. They're going to be tied with God's Ares unless they can pull off the reverse sweep. Are they going to be able to do so? Find out after the break.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, and we have now officially reached match point for Mirai Saints and Unity Astra, with Unity Astra leading our series 2-0 currently. But do not get it twisted, Mirai Saints have put up a fight so far. However, they have just not been able to fully counter what it is that Unity Astra is hitting them with. However, we do have a substitution there on Noise going out on the tank. And for our 3rd map, looks like going to be Dorado for Escort. Not really sure what the strategy is. Have not seen much of Noise on tank, so it is really weird to not be seeing Ghost 75 in the lineup. But I do have to give them the benefit of the doubt that it is for a reason. Now, Unity Astra is going to keep Verted on the tank role, so maybe expecting some dive comps, especially since we are on Dorado. Dorado obviously being known for more of a dive compared to what we see on the other Escort maps currently in the map pool with Circuit Royale and Havana. And it's quite interesting to me to see if we see the dives, where exactly we will be seeing the counterplay, whether it be diving the supports or diving the front line. With Unity Astra in the spawn room, Owen of Widow, there's no reason why he shouldn't. We have Goku on the Reaper, Verted on the Winston, And of course, Mateo and Jump on the support line with the Lucio Moira that we have grown accustomed to. On the defense, Mirai Saints looking for the Reaper Genji, no counter Widow, because I'm not sure that they are expecting the Widow here. Noise is going to be on the Diva, and they are also running a Lucio Moira, Jerix, and Usagi. Owen trying to get a sneaky kill. Mirai Saints backing off. They do not want to get caught here, especially right now. Mirai Saints trying to peek, but they know that the Widow is there. As you saw that Usagi had to fade just to even maneuver around, as Berta is now making the dive. Zoro gonna get caught. So is Cowboy. So Unity Astra finding the kills. Owen obviously getting a kill of his own. Widowmaker, we've seen it all game. Just his presence is enough to scare Mirai Saints to backing off, and this is exactly what Unity Astra want. They want Mirai Saints to back away into their dive. There's not really much you can go from this dive. And look at that. Very fairly quickly, they capture the first checkpoint. 5 minutes, 25 seconds is the time right now currently. And Owen continuing to harness this pressure from the Widowmaker, constantly pressuring them, constantly making aware that he is there always. And look at here, trying to get a dive. He's gonna get forced out, but he jumps right back up. Cowboy getting dangerously low, there has to fade away. But he's gonna get caught, and Noise is low as Owen pops the Infrasight. As yet again, Mirai Saints is gonna get cleared out. Like I've been saying, Owen has just been such a condescending presence here. Ever since the series began, this Widowmaker is very dangerous from him, and Mirai Saints are going to have to adapt. They're going to have to try to pressure out the Widow, either just forcing Owen to peek differently, play in a different play style, or just swap altogether. And Cowboy, we see him trying to go on a flank. He is unsuspecting that he is going to be met with a tank and a Reaper. As Owen yet again finds another pick onto Usagi. Mirai Saints without any healers. He is getting dived on, but the peel is going to be there from his team. Always getting low. Has to use the self-destruct. Will find Verted. And now Remix. Owen finally gets caught out by Zoro here on the Sombra. So now the necessary picks have been made. The counter picks. As there's a coalescence here by Jump trying to keep the team up, but it will not happen. He gets hacked, and Usagi with her own coalescence here. Mirai Saints finally finding some ground to stand on. They are going to answer back, and they're going to hold them right before the very second checkpoint. As we are coming up on some ults right now. Unity Astra has 3 of their ults, 1 from each role, and Mirai Saints are coming up with only 3 as well, actually. So kind of even if they manage to get them as Vertex starts to dive. Goku has the Death Blossom. He wants to get rid of the defense matrix, but he may not have to, as 2 from Mirai Saints are already down. Noise is going to get demeched, but will find Owen before her eventual death. And not really much of a pace breaker as Unity Astra continue their assault into the numerical pyramid here with their checkpoint. Had to use the beat and the Winston ult, the Primal Rage, as now they only have really the Death Blossom and the Infrasight. Goku tries to teleport up on there, but gets spooked away almost immediately. Cowboy now teleporting himself. He's got the Death Blossom. He's trying to destroy this Winston bubble, which is the only thing staying in his way, but Owen has found Jerix. Cowboy drops, he's going to find a massive Death Blossom, finds 2, tries to get 3, yes he does. Chases after Owen, can he get Owen? No he cannot. But 3 was enough to finish the fight, as Zoro chasing Owen, finding him. And Goku really late stagger there. I don't want to call it a stagger, but it really kind of is. As Mirai Saints yet again hold, but they have to do this for the next 3 minutes and 20 seconds. It's not looking very good for this defense. It is possible though. Definitely feasible. There's now an infrasight from Owen. Of course, the member's back, but Cowboy is gonna fall. Death Blossom was used by Jerix and the self-destruct as well. Mirai Saints using some ults trying to force Owen out, but Owen is responding by just not caring. He just ignores it, finds 2 picks as Virtual will clean up the rest. Unity Astra are pushing through the adversity of these ultimates. And now they're getting dangerous to Cloud Zoro. You did hear that. Owen did get taken out there by Zoro, but no one's touching the payload. Finally, there will be a touch. Noise touching. Coalescence being used. EMP thrown out. Massive EMP hits 4 members as Virtue is going to go down. The tank line is no longer in play for Unity Astra. This Cowboy finding his counterpart. And just barely, Mirai Saints are going to find an answer again. Now, of course, there were ultimates being used there. And they will not have that many come into this next fight. The closest is going to be the Death Blossom at 63%. Meanwhile, Unity Astra are coming up on 3-4 ults if Mateo can get the sound barrier in time and go with the Death Blossom. Pressuring out Noise here, getting dangerously low. Jump uses the Coalescence, trying to find a pick there onto Jerix. He's going to get caught by the Death Blossom of Goku. He gets 2. Owen does get caught in the back line. The team is doing their work. As Noise gets denied. He's going to fall shortly after. Zoro as well gets caught. No Somber to touch here as Jerix trying to contest. There is a sound barrier and a primal rage trying to force the members of Mirai Saints off the payload. They're trying to get as much time as they can in this time bank. Noise is back onto the payload and so is Jerix trying to touch. Zoro in the back hacking members, trying to eliminate people, try to see if they can come back. But it does not seem possible as Noise was the last one on the payload. And Unity Astra, with 1 minute and 3 seconds, are going to find the 3rd checkpoint and finish the map. It's the same tale that we've been seeing. Owen is too much of an issue, too much of a menace, if you will. And Mirai Saints were able to respond sometimes whenever they were focusing all of their resources onto him. And at some point, there's more than just one player to focus on. Very valiant efforts by Mirai Saints, but there's got to be more to it. Apart from just isolating Owen, you have to make sure that the rest of the team isn't getting any value, and that's something that we saw on display, is that even when Owen was being taken care of, the rest of Unity Astra were just allowed to follow up even without Owen. So now it's going to be Mirai Saints on the attack. Not sure how they are going to try to counter Unity Astra, who are going to be running the Widow on defense. Owen is feeling very brave, he's feeling confident, he's been confident the entire series on this Widowmaker. No change to the composition from Unity Astra, they're running the exact same thing. Mirai Saints are going to be running Zoro on the Genji and Sagi on the Baptiste. So clearly they are anticipating something that will need to be used for a lamp, preferably the Widow is what I'm assuming that lamp is going to be utilized. Here we go, Mirai Saints. Zoro trying to find the high ground, finds Owen with the team in pursuit. Owen's going to be very, very crowded in this roof. Gets taken out. But the rest of Mirai Saints are here as Cowboy goes down. It's a whole brawl on this weird staircase. Don't really see that many team fights going on here. And there's a reason, because no one ever plays over here. But regardless, the team's in a brawl. Mirai Saints are falling low. Jerix is the first to fall. Next is Usagi. And Noise goes down. Cowboy does manage to escape briefly, but is getting chased there. And what a brawl actually in this little staircase, as really if you look at it, nothing really changed, as Owen is just back in that same position and is able to find Jerix. So Owen continuing to cause havoc to the members of Mirai Saints. And an entire minute was blown off of the time that Mirai Saints has. So now 2 minutes is what they have with 40 seconds. As as Verted, playing very dangerously close to the enemy spawn, is very low, and he will get punished for that overpositioning. Goku, same thing. And Owen still having some free range, but now has less peel, and he does recognize that and is falling back. And always pushing up on the dive. They have found Owen, but he does have 2 supports on him. Still, they're going. Noah's getting very aggressive, and he's going to get DMA'd by the Coalescence of Jump, who is doing more than healing with that, looking for kills. Noise is going to get caught. Immortality Field forced. And Jump continuing to be that DPS Moira as a Unity Astra once again clearing out Mirai Saints. A very well executed slight reset there by Owen and the supports, as they allow enough time for Goku and Vert to come back. And again, like I said, all these resources have been focused on Owen, and not really much happening as Cowboy is going to fall again. Infrasight does come out from Owen, so the push that the Mirai Saints are trying to do on the underside there is going to get halted momentarily, and Owen is trying to fend off a whole Genji. 1 HP there for Zoro, is going to get caught out by Goku. And now 1 minute and 30 seconds basically for Mirai Saints. They haven't really pushed the payload past this first corner yet. And Unity Astra have the tools to stop them from ever doing it. Coming up on 3 ults, while Mirai Saints is looking at all 5. So maybe if they play the cards right, Unity Astra can do something. Goku looking very greedy with that. Whole lot of ults being used in this one room. 2 death blossoms, a primal rage, and a sound barrier. But in the end, it seems like, well, there's a lot going on right now. Verted went absolutely crazy in that one room, and it seems like Mirai Saints are going to back out. Zoro was way too low. The Cowboy's way in too deep, as he is going to get eliminated. But Noise is actually on the payload. Respawns now for Mirai Saints, as Unity Astra, of course, do not have the spawn advantage on defense. And now they are finally making their way up to the main plaza. Owen getting dived there by Noise, as you saw, but Verted is actually very isolated from his team. He's low, gets caught. Owen responds with a kill on Noise, so both tanks out, but Owen finds 2. Dragon Blade and Coalescence being used. Jump with the Coalescence, and Zoro with the Dragon Blade manages to find one of the jump, but does go down. This team fight continues to be scrappy, but Usagi trying to respond. Has one with the Goku, trying to get some kills here. Gets 2. Goku's the final obstacle standing in Mirai Saints' way. And Usagi will find that elimination. And now overtime is ticking. But it seems like Mirai Saints are finally going to be able to get this payload to the first checkpoint. Unfortunate there from the Astra, looking like they were trying to contest, but they were too late onto the touch. And now they are going to get punished for that positioning, as Jump is going to go down. Verted also goes down. There's a Tracer coming out here from Cowboy. I'm assuming it was most likely for the contest. Same thing with the ball. But regardless, they seem to be sticking to this, as Verted is actually swapping over to the Orisa. And Cowboy actually is on the Widow as well. So finally, after realizing the absolute danger that is Owen, they're finally trying to counter. Owen gets absolutely flamed by 3 members of Mirai Saints. He's going to go down. Noise gets very low there on the ball. They're trying to stick to this as they swap for the stall, but Verted has the ability to counter Wrecking Ball on that Orisa, as Owen is now all the way in the back, has to aim through 2 walls essentially. Goku looking for another Death Blossom. He's got it. He can end this fight right here, right now. He has no lamp standing in his way. Not sure what he's waiting on. Maybe on a support. But Verted did fall on the other side, and always did use the proximity mines on the Wrecking Ball. And there are countless members of Mirai Saints just everywhere all at once. And a Widow duel that both will lose, and Goku does finally use his Death Blossom in the backline. The members of Mirai Saints are very isolated. There's not really much to do when everyone is all over the map, and that's exactly what Unity Astra is going to do. They picked off everyone as they were isolated, and a very scrappy fight. It did seem that like Mirai Saints had a chance. Maybe if Cowboy was allowed to live on that Widow duel instead of getting eliminated as well, maybe they could have had something there. But they're back to the drawing board, and now they're going to be going around the church area. They find Verted up all alone. Has to use the Fortify, but even that is not going to help him to live. As Goku now on the Sombra is going to get forced out. And now they're focusing their resources on Owen. He's low, he's down. They have the leverage. Zoro is now going in with the Dragon Blade. He finds Mateo. Jump had to use the Coalescence, but it's not going to save anyone. In fact, it might go down. Yes, they do. Zoro, though, now with the advantage as Mirai Saints using all that chaos, we're going to be able to get the second checkpoint. Inverted, yep, he's going to go down. The respawns are getting staggered. And heavily staggered, should I say. As only a minute for Mirai Saints to get to the final checkpoint. It is feasible, it is doable, but it's going to take a lot of point perfect plays in order to do so. As Owen is now going to swap over to the Genji. He's not feeling the weight anymore. Hasn't gotten a pick in a minute. And so now the tides are almost reversed here, as Verted is going to be using his ultimate ability. Finds a lamp. A sound barrier was used by both teams, but Goku's going to go down. Cowboy also goes down to Owen. Owen getting 2 in this room, but he's dangerously low. Misses the dash there, trying to escape, but he is going to manage to live. As Zoro is very low. He is going to get eliminated. Derek's also very low, gets eliminated as well. Owen continues to show why he is very much a very expert specialist. Manages to get 3 fresh off the respawn of Genji. And Cowboy now off the Widow and onto the Sojourn. We've seen Sojourn on Dorado, especially here on the 3rd checkpoint where there are a lot of open areas. Maybe trying to find a sneaky kill with the railgun shot. And now Genji 1-1 has engaged. Owen very low, is not going to get the healing that he needs. Goku gets caught by a self-destruct of noise, and now we're entering overtime as Unity Astra are 2 people down. Verted very low in the corner, goes down. The lamp is used. And maybe in overtime, but Mirai Saints are looking to finish at the map. As Mateo very low, trying to stall for all he can. He's trying to escape. Manages to evade for a second though. Goku didn't end up falling in the fight. Mateo is still alive, but eventually gets caught. And maybe Verted onto the ball now. He's half, he's low. A Dragon Blade does get used there by Zoro to eliminate any and all people coming onto the point from Invitational Astra. And Mirai Saints have managed to do it in overtime, but they've done it. They have managed to complete the map, and now they're going to get only 1 minute, which is better than nothing, but that does mean that they are going to be staying on the attack. Not much to say other than the fact that Mirai Saints may have found a response. They were completely isolating Owen, forced him off the Widowmaker, and forced him onto the Genji. All they had to do then was just win that fight. And for a second they were, and then for a second they weren't, but eventually they did find their way to the destination. But like I said, they can't relax as they have to attack yet again. And it seems like they're going to be running Cowboy on the Widow again. The Widow Genji. Derek's is right now on the Mercy. I'm intrigued to see if he's going to stay on that Mercy. Nope, looks like he's going to swap over to the Lucio. On the defense though, Verted is going to be on the Zarya now. And Owen is going to try a different sniper hero, this time the Ashe. Ashe is probably a little more dangerous than Widow, especially on this map where he has more escape abilities and is also able to deal a lot of damage from a much shorter range. And there's a Widow duel. Owen immediately wins that, proving yet again exactly what I just said about Ashe's strengths over Widowmaker in the sniper duel. And now Mirai Saints are turning the corner without a person. Of course, will respawn very quickly. Zoro getting low. Owen finds a Jarix, so 1 support down. Noise is very low, gets demeched. 30 seconds left, and there hasn't really been much going on from Mirai Saints. As Goku is currently in the spawn, Jump does get eliminated in the chaos. I think it won't matter, as most of Mirai Saints are respawning. Noise makes a swap over to the Winston. As now there are 10 seconds left. Mirai Saints looking to first get to the payload. They don't really have much to set up for a fight. They have to contest now in overtime. Owen finds a pick, gets eliminated immediately though. Both snipers are out of the fight, but Goku also went out earlier. So Mirai Saints do have the man disadvantage. As Mirai Saints can play around that. They have leverage here. They're getting close to some ults. The Dragon Blade is the closest thing. There is a Hanzo. Cowboy just hopped over to Hanzo. And Owen's hopped over to the Cassidy. Noah's gonna get caught. Mateo down too. Both supporters now down for Unity Astra. And this is looking like Saints' fight. Owen will fall, so it looks like Mirai Saints is going to push the payload now in overtime. As we see Goku falling. Cowboy does end up falling though to Verted, so Verted looking to fight as long as he can, but eventually Mirai Saints are going to get the checkpoint. However, this is the time bank round, so there will not be any additional time given to Mirai Saints. They need to be able to get as much distance as possible without getting eliminated. And now we see Noise actually there, swapped over to the Diva. The dive still staying consistent, just with a different tank, as Unity Astra looking to respond with a Death Loss, some Coalescence, and Sound 3 ults for both teams currently. And Owen finds a kill onto Cowboy, finds two onto Jerix. The Dragon Blade gets used as well as the Coalescence. Coalescence from both teams as Goku uses the Death Blossom. Carnage everywhere. It looks like Unity Astra have a little bit of ground to stand on. Deadeye being used by Owen just to reload as Noise is falling very low onto the payload. He's gonna get demacked and falls. The members of Mirai Saints have the smart advantage, but they're dying way too quickly. Owen does fall though. A double sound barrier almost synchronized for both teams. A little breathing room. Unity Astra, of course, still with the man advantage. A grab does get used. Jerix is in it. He goes down. As now Goku looking for more. Spawns coming in from both teams. Zora though going dangerously low. Cowboy also very low as Noise is low. Has a Moira heals but will not be able to live. As Noise does go down finally. Kind of delayed there. It's just Jerix right now on point. He will fall. And after quite a lengthy overtime, Unity Astra will stop Mirai Saints. A very, very awkward place to get stopped. And again, Owen. It's always Owen. Starting off that weird descent of momentum by finding the elimination there. And the rest of Unity Astra saw the opportunity and completely pounced on Mirai Saints. As being stuck in that corner is, of course, like I said, very awkward, especially when you're spawning. Even with the spawn advantage, you still have to figure out which direction out of 3 possible ways you want to go. And clearly, even with some members of Unity Astra going down, there were too many ults that Unity Astra had banked, especially those sound barriers. And, well, not much distance there from Mirai Saints, and of course they're going to have to defend Unity Astra. They're going to have to stop them from reaching that point. And it looks like they're going to be running a heavy damage comp with the Torbjorn and Symmetra from Cowboy and Zoro respectively. Noise is going to swap over to the Zarya, Usagi on the Mercy, and Jerix on the Baptiste. Meanwhile, on the side of Unity Astra, Owen is back on the Widow. So, maybe not the best pick here with the barriers of bubbles more from Zarya, but still the pressure is there as Noise will very dangerously low. Owen, even with the bubbles, will not be denied finding headshots. Wasn't enough to kill because, of course, our tank. That's not Mirai Saints. No one has gone down yet. They are pressured there. Ooh, Jerix got very close to being eliminated as Mattel actually ends up falling first. Both teams are very low right now. Goku does fall next. Owen is still up on the high ground. Getting contested by Jerix. Occasionally though with the Exo Boots. And despite all of that, it does seem like a stalemate as Unity Astra have to respawn now, find their way back to the payload, and Mirai Saints are now backing up. They do not want to get caught out by this Widow. as now the dive is going on the Noise of all people. Eliminated from Mirai Saints. No tank. A lamp was actually used there as Zoro falls next. As Unity Astra will gladly take this, but Cowboy in the meantime is in the backline. Manages to find Owen. Is looking for more. The Genji is very dangerous in the backline, but Usagi is too low. Cannot live, and so Cowboy cannot live either. So Unity Astra are making their way ever so closer to the final destination. They have gotten the checkpoint there, but remember, this is time banking. No extra time is allowed, and they only have 15 seconds to get it up this little corner. And Mirai Saints is already awaiting them through the gate. Noise trying to gather some charge. So is Zoro on the Symmetra. Coalescence being used by Unity Astra. Lamp on the side of Mirai Saints, as well as the Photon Barrier splitting the map in half. Valkyrie being used by Usagi. Owen uses the Infra Sight. A lot of ults being used. Verted is going to Primal Raid, try to displace or straight up eliminate Jerix from the fight. As we see, Owen got eliminated by Cowboy there. Dragon Blade, Graviton Surge, and a Sound Barrier being used. And Goku has the Death Blossom, is going to be able to use it, has 2 right now. And in the middle of all that chaos, Mirai Saints can't touch the point. A very, very unfortunate end there for Mirai Saints, as Unity Astra are going to be taking the series 3-0. Man, what a chaotic last fight. Mirai Saints, they were looking like they had some kind of response there towards the end of that map, focusing Owen, but at the end of the day, Unity Astra's complete and fortitude has been on display throughout the entirety of the series. They've demonstrated why they are unmatched in terms of not just their individual skills, but their skills as a team. And again, Unity Astra is now moving on to 3-0. They will comfortably sit at the top of the league. Mirai Saints, once again coming up short. And the man behind this match is going to be Owen. We saw his complete and utter domination on the Widowmaker. Absolutely just having Mirai Saints in the clutch of his hand. It was him who took control whenever he was allowed to. 22 eliminations, 10 elims per 10, 1.29 KD ratio, 17 deaths throughout the entirety of this series. Even when Owen was being pressured by Mirai Saints there, the rest of Unity Astra was ready to finish up what he had started. And like I was saying with Mirai Saints, very unfortunate. They've been having hard opponent after tough opponent. They have just not been able to catch a break. However, maybe now that they've gotten all that out of the way, they can maybe start looking towards their actual first win in this series. Will they obtain it, however? Well, we'll have to figure it out. That's going to be all for this match, ladies and gentlemen. I thank all of you for joining us today on behalf of Nano Assassin and me. Hopefully you've enjoyed. Hopefully you'll stick with us throughout the rest of the series. But in the meantime, that's it for me.